right, moving on to question number 2 with Kenneth. Bit of a long one here, Kenneth, but we moved from Scotland to England in February for my new job. We are currently living in rented accommodation. We've already had one sale fall through on a house we were looking to buy. The experience was exasperating, to say the least, and the communication was dreadful with the solicitors. The sellers got so stressed out, and in the end, they pulled out and took the property off the market. In Scotland, our process is much better, where solicitors also act as estate agents. Why is this setup not common practice in England when it makes so much sense? We desperately need to find somewhere, but dreading going through the same thing again. We already lost money going through the first sale. Any advice would be appreciated as to the best way forward. We're cash buyers, recently married and sold 2 properties, so we have no issues regarding a mortgage, etc. All right, Kenneth, thank you for that question. Great question. Well, there's a number of questions in there, isn't there, really? So first thing I'd say to you, Kenneth, I know the situation in Scotland in terms of buying and selling properties is very different to here in the UK, or should I say England and Wales. And if you're looking to get a quick, sharp purchase done, which is no bad thing, I would seriously consider looking at auctions as a way to find the right property and then buy it quickly. Okay. The slight disadvantage is that you're going to have to do a lot of your due diligence up front. So you're going to have to do your survey up front, and you're going to get somebody to review the legal pack prior to you going to purchase. But it could be a great way for you to find the right property for you in an area that you're living in. You haven't said where you're moving to, but that's the one avenue that I would look at as far as finding a property that you can buy very quickly, especially if you're cash buyers. But obviously, it's do your due diligence first and up front, because that's going to be the most important factor to buy a property safely. Okay. Otherwise, you could end up, as I've mentioned earlier, buying a property at auction that is a bit of a wreck, or could have problems with it that you need to take into account and get sorted out. All right. So that would be one thing to look at. Why is the situation in England and Wales so different to Scotland? That there are things afoot at the moment, Kenneth, to try and make the England and Wales property market more efficient and more, how do I put this? A much better way of transacting properties than has been currently. The issue we've got is that the market has gone through an incredible change very, very quickly, from almost stopping at the beginning of the pandemic through to a rapid increase in the number of transactions. There's been a number of conveyancers that have left the market because or the industry, should I say, because they've been absolutely worked to the bone, and they've had enough and they've left. And there's also a recruitment issue, as I understand, with people trying to fill the right roles within law firms to bring the appropriately qualified conveyancers on board to help them, get deals done. Now, I read today that there is plans afoot to try and get government intervention to help with adoption of different ways of doing things, and it bring a more efficient system in place. Now, whether or not you're a fan of government intervention is a different matter. I'm personally not, but I think the free market should decide that there is a different way of doing things, and I think the free market has got to the point now where we've just said, you know what, this old system is broken. It doesn't appear to be working anymore. We need a new way of doing things, and unfortunately, that does come with a cost. It does come with a financial incentive to all those involved in order to try and get this process fast-tracked and make it work as it should. Okay, so there are changes afoot. Unfortunately, in the property industry, changes can take a long time to be adopted. And I think that there is a reluctance in the industry after the government tried to introduce home information packs back in sort of 2007, I think it was 2007, 2008. And they made all these plans that this is the way things were going to be done. And then it was imposed upon estate agents to do it. And then at the last minute, it was kind of pulled out, or, we just ended up with EPCs that were left over, which is energy performance certificates. We were left with those, but all of this sort of upfront information gathering process that, in my humble opinion, would absolutely transform the speed at which transactions could go through and make for more informed buyers and sellers. I think those are the sorts of things that need to come back, and we are champions at WiggyWam of things like the Sellers Pack, which is a lot of upfront information that is required, because it helps to get rid of this uncertainty. The buyer is coming in and they're being asked to spend, Rolls-Royce money on a property, and they have very little information. Think about it. At least if you're going to go and buy a Rolls-Royce, you go to the showroom, you'd be given the sort of red carpet treatment. You'd be allowed to at least get behind the wheel of the car and drive the thing. Whereas with property, you're being asked to spend, 100, 200, 300,000, £1 million on a property, and you're not given the opportunity to test drive it. You're not given the opportunity to live in the property beforehand. And that's perfectly understandable because, there's other people living there. But, the flip side is, what about all of the information of what it costs to run that property? Are there any issues with the title or the boundaries that need to be taken into account? Does the property suffer with any damp or other issues that need to be addressed? And the only way to find this out is to incur a cost as the buyer. And as you found to your detriment, Kenneth, unfortunately, that you've lost money by going through this process and then finding out that there was issues and obstacles that couldn't be overcome, and you've had to pull out of the deal. So I know it's a bit of a pain. The one tip I can give you is to, before you go out to buy your next property, please get a cost indemnity insurance policy in place, okay? And that will underwrite your costs that you're going to be spending out on surveyors, mortgage broker. Well, you're a cash buyer, so at least with your survey costs and your legal costs, they'll be underwritten. So God forbid, the same thing happens again. At least you'll know you're going to get some of those costs back, okay? So hope that helps, Kenneth. If you need any more information, again, we're here for you. Just let us know, and I'll be happy to help you out as much as we can. All right. Thanks for the question there, Kenneth. Thank you so much for joining me. Really impressed that you're showing up week in, week out. We're getting some great feedback and responses. So don't forget that you can send us your questions anytime you'd like, either on email, happytohelp@wiggywam.co.uk, or you can send them to us via Twitter, or you can go to our WiggyWam website, log into there, and then send us some questions directly. I'd be more than happy to answer them. I'm really excited to be doing these webinars. I get a lot of fun and enjoyment out of them. And even though this last week has been complete chaos, I've really enjoyed it because it's given us an opportunity to have a bit of normality and at least get the office fairly ready for doing this webinar today. So thanks for your time and attention, guys. Look forward to joining you again, same time next week, and hope you have an amazing evening. All right, guys, take care. See you again. Bye-bye.